Shabbat Shalom, Israel. All praise to the Most High. We just had room 144, and now we jump into the next segment that we'll have before we go into tomorrow's segment of the Cloven. Actually, New Moon class, huh? All praise to the Most High. So tonight, sound doctrine. Myself, Brother Darash, and my brother Yahweh, right? So like I said, every time we opening up with the same two scriptures. So let's go to Proverbs. We're going to open up with Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 2. That's what we're going to open up with first.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 2. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law.
That's the first thing. And that's why we labeled this sound doctrine. Scriptures say, I gave you good doctrine, and don't forsake it. And that is my law. 2 Timothy 4 and 3. 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 3.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4 and verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears.
Read on.
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth.
Right.
And they shall be turned into fables.
Right. So now, we've seen this happening. And again, this is the whole purpose for actually creating this segment and labeling it sound doctrine, because that's what we plan to teach. That's what we plan to show. Show the people what is sound doctrine, as well as, Lord willing, be able to win you over in sound doctrine, and not you going off into having itching ears and heaping teachers upon yourself. So we're going to jump straight into it. It was a number of individuals I asked this past week, what should class be about this week? I gave, I think, 3 or 4 topics, and there was a landslide of a victory for mental health, mental illness in Israel. So we're going to talk about it. And now here's the thing. I'm not going into the stuff that clear as day is mental. Like, we know what schizophrenia is. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of the definition of schizophrenia, what it is, does it plague, all that. I'm going to deal with the ones that are actually prevalent in Israel. And not only is it prevalent, but a lot of people don't even realize they have it. A lot of people ain't never went to the doctor because they don't want to get diagnosed, because they don't want to get medication, because Esau is full of doo-doo, all of that good stuff, right? So we're going to jump straight into it. First thing I want to go to, let me pull this up. I completely forgot to pull this up. Here it is. First thing I want to go to, let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Let me show you something. Because here's the cold part. As much as we deal with it in Israel, a lot of us didn't even realize what this scripture was saying, what this scripture meant, and that this is the reason why it's so prevalent. It's so prevalent in Israel. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28, read verse 15 first.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
Read.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So first and foremost, we talking about the curses. People are like, oh, we're going through the curses, so on and so forth. Yeah, it's absolutely true. But mental health issues, mental illness was actually, Shalom, was actually a curse that the Lord placed up on us. And we're gonna see right now. Go to read verse 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 20.
28.
28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
So the scriptures say the Lord's going to smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Watch this. So when you look up the Hebrew for madness, is H7697. And the outline of biblical usage is literally madness. The definition is craziness, furious, madness. Brown's Driver Briggs, which is another concordance, says that it's figurative of wild and helpless panic. So the scripture said he's going to smite thee with madness, craziness. What's the word? Mindless panic. Right? Now watch this. It also said blindness. The definition, literal blindness. Brown's Driver Briggs actually says only in this phrase, when it says he shall smite thee with madness, figurative of blind incapacity, meaning mentally you're blind. Mentally you're incapacitated. Mentally you're screwed up. The Lord is going to smite you with this, with madness, craziness, blindness, figurative blind incapacity, an incapacitated mind, and then astonishment of your heart. Again, I'm sorry, blindness was H5788, astonishment H8541. Outline of biblical usage: astonishment, bewilderment, stupefaction. The definition of consternation. Now watch this. Grabbed a couple of definitions of these words, because the actual definition, so to speak, when you're looking like Blue Letter Bible, it says consternation or astonishment. Then it goes on to say astonishment, bewilderness, stupefaction. Here's the definition of those words. Consternation, feelings of anxiety or dismay, typically of something unexpected. Stupefaction or stupefy, to make someone unable to think or feel properly. To shock, to astonish. Bewilderment, a feeling of being perplexed and confused. So the scripture said that the Lord would smite us with craziness, strong feelings of anxiety and dismay, mental incapacitation, inability to think or feel properly, shock, trauma. The Lord said, if you didn't obey me, these things would happen to you. And a lot of us, it's so crazy because we talk about, oh, these are the cursed conditions. And actually, when you read through the curses, a lot of that stuff causes trauma. It causes the inability to think and reason properly. It causes all of these different types of mental illnesses that is prevalent in our communities. And we kind of just overlook it. And a lot of times we don't even take into consideration this is really what's going on. It wasn't until maybe a few weeks ago, maybe even a few months ago, that I really sat there and I was like, I looked at the things that some of these brothers was doing, some of these sisters was doing, the way that some of these people reasoned, and I was like, mental illness is real in Israel. I used to be mad about it, but then I realized they're messed up. They're traumatized. And then I sat here and I read this particular scripture. I will smite thee with madness, blindness, and astonishment of heart. You're gonna go crazy. You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mentally not able to focus, not able to reason. You're gonna have mental illnesses known as anxiety, depression, psychosis, all of these different things. That's a curse. And it was placed right here. If you disobey me, I'm gonna slap you in the face with it. Go to Ecclesiastes 7:7 before we continue on. Ecclesiastes 7:7. So we saw the Lord himself say all of the things that a lot of our brothers and sisters struggle with right now. The scripture said the Lord was going to do that to you as a curse for your disobedience. But watch this. I want to read this scripture. Ecclesiastes 7:7.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression makes a wise man mad, crazy, mentally ill, so stressed out they can't think straight. Surely being oppressed, that will happen, right? Now, here's the crazy part. When you go and you read the curses, that's essentially what all the curses said. I'm going to make you physically ill. I'm going to allow your oppressors to oppress you or your enemies to oppress you. And I'm going to drive you crazy. But, I mean, when you read through the curses, it's like all of this stuff would drive us crazy. And we kind of we read the curses and we be like, we went through the curses. Yeah, we still going through the curses. And the crazy part is a lot of us don't see. There's a lot of people that are mentally ill that don't see or think or believe that they're mentally ill. There are some leaders in congregations that are mentally ill that don't see, think, or believe that they're mentally ill. That's just, and I'm going to show you, because a lot of these things, people ain't going to the doctor because they don't want to be diagnosed. So watch this. I'm going to read this really quickly. Common causes of mental illness. And I had the PowerPoint, but unfortunately I'm not able to put it up. This is from, majority of my sources are Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, National Institute of Health. Those are my three main ones. And anyone that's different, I'll let you guys know. Common causes of mental illness: childhood abuse, trauma or neglect, social isolation or loneliness, experiencing discrimination and stigma, including racism, poverty, social disadvantage or debt, severe or long-term stress, bereavement, drugs, alcohol. These are the common causes of mental illness. Just so happen that this is ever so common in our communities. This is ever so common in Israel. Childhood abuse, everybody and their daddy done said that they done went through some type of abuse. Trauma, neglect, maybe social isolation, may or may not, loneliness, all of that. Discrimination and stigma, including racism. Every Israelite loves to pull that one. These damn devils, they so damn racist, they da-da-da-da. And in turn, they became just as racist as the people they call it racist. Poverty. We going through these cursed conditions. Oh, that's why we broke. Oh, this man started to prosper. He might have fell out the truth. Poverty. Part of the curses they feel. Long-term stress or severe stress may cause mental illness. Bereavement. I mean, brothers and sisters in the truth, out of the truth, dropping dead like every day. And then drugs and alcohol. Now, the drugs part is not that big of an issue, at least in Israel, in the truth. But the alcohol part, I'll be honest, there's a lot of alcoholics in Israel. Like addicted to the bottle. They may not admit it. Again, they probably ain't going to admit it. There's some drunks in Israel. There's legit some drunks out here. Let's go to, let me think. Let me see something. I want to get that right now. No, I'll get that in a second. let's go to common mental disorders in Israel. Anxiety disorder. Now, these are the ones we're actually going to talk about tonight, because these are the ones that are, I believe, a lot more common and a lot more prevalent, and they kind of get swept under the rug. And a lot of people, after listening and reading about the symptoms and hearing it, y'all gonna be like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of people that do suffer from that. They'll probably never go to the doctor to be diagnosed for it, though, unless it's uncontrollably severe. But when you guys hear it, y'all gonna be like, oh, yes, yeah, there's a lot going on. Common mental disorders in Israel: anxiety disorder, depression, bipolar disorder, BPD or borderline personality disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is one that irritates my soul, because people just throw this word around, and I truly believe they don't really know what it means. They just don't, when they don't get their way or they get told about themselves, this is the word that gets thrown out there. Narcissistic personality disorder. Oh, he's a narcissist. May be true, may not be true. But I'm be honest, a lot of sisters like to throw that out there. Oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, that's narcissism. Oh, you're such a narcissist. Oh, shut up. What's the definition of a narcissist? A lot of them don't even know. That's definitely a symptom of it. that's definitely a part of it. But a narcissistic personality disorder. Now, anxiety disorder. Read this for me. Here, let me do this for you. Anxiety disorder. This is from the National Institute of Health, Cleveland Clinic, and Mayo Clinic. All of the information on here is from one of those sources. Go ahead.
People with anxiety disorders frequently have intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations.
Right, read.
Anxiety makes it difficult to get through your day. Symptoms include feelings of nervousness, panic, and fear, as well as sweating and a rapid heartbeat. An anxiety disorder happens when anxiety interferes with your ability to function. You often overreact when something triggers your emotions. You can't control your responses.
Now, anxiety is essentially when you always putting 10 on 2s. That's basically what it is. You always worried. You always flustered. You always thinking the worst. You always in your head, to a degree, it's pessimism. Cynical. That's essentially what anxiety is. In your mind, you're always worried something's going to go wrong. Something's going to happen. And yeah, a lot of our parents were like that. Now, there's extreme anxiety, which literally cripples you in your day-to-day life, and there's moderate to what's the word? Mild anxiety. But and here's the thing. To have anxiety is not something crazy. To have anxiety disorder is different, because this is always, man, this person, like, think of a person, I guarantee you everyone here knows a person that's like, damn, they always putting 10 on 2s. They always worried. They're always thinking the worst. That's what anxiety disorder is. And there's a lot of people in Israel that have that too. But the crazy part is, let's read on. The next couple of, as we get more into the disorders, you're going to see like these actually hit a lot more people. Anxiety disorder. Read this last one.
Anxiety disorders occur more often in women.
Right.
Researchers are still studying why that happens.
We already know why that happens because you guys are emotionally driven. That's the honest truth. You guys are emotionally driven and not logically driven. Men are wired to be more logical, which is why we have less anxiety, panic. Read on.
It may come from women's hormones.
You guys are wired differently. It's your hormones, right? Read.
Especially those that fluctuate throughout the month.
Right, read.
The hormone testosterone may play a role too.
Right.
Men have more, and it may ease anxiety.
Exactly, right? Here are the different types of anxiety disorder. Go ahead, read that.
Generalized anxiety disorder,
Uh-huh.
which is a constant excessive worry about things such as health, money, family, work, school, etc.
Right? So that's pretty much anything. Like, oh my God, I'm late to work, and now you freaking out. They're gonna fire me. I don't know, I'm gonna pay this bill. If I don't pay this bill, they're gonna cut off my lights. Oh, if I don't pay this rent, they're gonna kick me out tomorrow. That's what anxiety looks like. Like the absolute. My mother has anxiety, and it drives me crazy. And I grew up with that. And I realized that I have mild anxiety. I may not show it. I may not speak on it. But in the back of my mind, certain things stress me out. Everybody else will be like, man, you just need to chill out. And I'm like, the hell? Yeah. But I believe I inherited that from my mother, or at least she groomed that into me. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? But generalized anxiety disorder is literally constant excessive worry about everything: your health, money, family, work, school. But again, there's a spectrum: severe, moderate, mild, right? When it becomes crippling, or when it becomes borderline crippling, when it's like, oh, that's when we kind of got a problem. Give me the next one.
Social anxiety disorder.
This is one I'm like, I just don't like being around people. This is women all day. Read.
Excessive fear of interacting, like talking with strangers.
Right. Interfere with interacting or talking with strangers, right? Now, I'm just not a people person. I don't like to be in public. I don't like getting to know new people. All of that garbage, right? They got social anxiety disorder. They don't know what it's called. It's social anxiety disorder. You are scared to meet new people. You are worried that they may think a certain way about you. Now, when you read more about social anxiety disorder, they go into that. They tell you, like, you're worried that you may embarrass yourself. You may perspire because you're around people and you're nervous, and you're worried that they're going to see that and it's going to embarrass you. You're worried what people may think about you. But you guys cover it up as, I don't like to meet new people. No, you have social anxiety disorder. You have anxiety. That's all it is. There's different types of anxiety, and you have anxiety. You have anxiety around new people. That's what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But to a degree, you got to, break through barriers, because you can't build a sisterhood if you act like you can't talk to nobody. Same thing with brothers. If you got that same situation, you can't build a brotherhood if you're scared to talk to people. You're scared to meet new people. Last one.
Separation anxiety. Intense fear of being separated from a loved one or a caregiver.
Yeah. And a lot of times, siblings who grew up together, they have that. Like my daughters, to a degree, like they don't know it, but they definitely have it. Every time my older daughter comes to school, my little one's like, she done gotten a little better, but it's like, when are we going to pick up sister? I miss sister. I sure wish sister was here. What time is it? Are we going to go get sister? Are you going to go get sister? And then she found out, oh, she didn't have school today. Yay, you could stay home with me today, sister. Like, she's like attached. Like she has separation anxiety. Even when they're at the house, one daughter will be going to the restroom and the other one will go to the bathroom door and just stand there at the door and wait. I'm like, if you don't leave her alone, you're like a pet. Like, go somewhere and do something else. And then she looks all pitiful because I sent her away. Sometimes she'll bust in the door and stand there and wait for her to finish. And I'm like, if you don't get your butt out of this bathroom while your sister is using the bathroom, I'm going to beat you. Leave her alone. And she be so just hurt. She has separation anxiety. She don't like to be away from her sister. They don't realize that. But, it's because they literally all they've known was each other. That's how they came up together with each other, right? Separation anxiety. Intense fear of being separated from a loved one or caregiver, right? Now, here's one a lot of people have, and they don't realize that they have it. Here's also one that a lot of people, once they hear this lesson, will say, oh, that's me. No, you're just lazy. The difference. Be honest. You're just not driven and you're lazy. But here's the other one. And again, we're just going through the ones that people will you'll start when you see it, you'll be like, okay, no, that makes sense. This is the information that a lot of Israel, they're going to sit back and watch the lesson and be like, dang, that sounds like me. That might be me. But they'll never go to the doctor because they don't want to get labeled. They don't want to get medicated, which, it is what it is. But you need to be able to acknowledge that this is your issue. This is your vice. This is your problem, right? Depression. Go ahead, read that.
Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest.
Now, a persistent feeling of sadness. And it's not just sadness. We'll read on in a minute. It's not just sadness, but also a loss of interest. I just don't feel driven. I just don't feel like every other day I pop up out the bed and I'm ready to go. Recently, I just haven't been feeling it. I just want to sleep in. I just want to stay in the bed. I just feel hopeless. Everything means nothing. It's just worthless. That's what depression feels like, right? Read on.
Also called major depressive disorder or clinical depression.
Uh-huh.
It affects how you feel,
Uh-huh.
think,
Uh-huh.
and behave,
Uh-huh.
and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems.
And it can lead to emotional as well as physical problems. Go ahead.
You may have trouble doing normal day-to-day activities.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you may feel as if life isn't worth living.
Now, this isn't like, oh, I got suicidal thoughts, but it's literally like I don't want to go outside today. I want to lay in the dark all day. I know these things have to get done, but I really just don't want to do it. I usually love going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I usually love watching my show. I don't want to watch my show. I usually love whatever my reading, writing. I don't want to do it. I'm not driven. I'm not motivated. I don't want to do anything. And people call this being in a slump. You guys heard that before? I'm just in a slump. I'm in a rut. And you're depressed. I don't know what it is. I can't get myself. You're depressed. There's a lot going on that got you depressed. Now, here's the crazy part. When we talk about depression, let me see something. We'll get into it. I'll talk about it in a moment. We'll get into it. Next bullet.
Approximately 9.5% of American adults over the age of 18 will suffer from some form of depressive illness.
Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but watch this, read.
Approximately 24,441,548 adults are predicted to suffer from depressive illness annually.
Annually. Every year, about 24, rounding, we would have to round down because it's not 24 and a half, but 24 and a half million people suffer from depression a year, annually. Now, these are the people that actually go and get, what's the word, diagnosed. Imagine the people, I ain't going to no damn doctor, I'm fine. I'm just tired. Ain't no wrong with me. The brothers or the sisters that don't want to be labeled, or the brothers that's too macho to go to the doctor, whatever. Those are the ones that ain't even went to the doctor. These are the ones that did get diagnosed. Approximately, on average, this happens every year, so it's estimated every year 24,441,548 adults they have depressed, they get diagnosed with depression. Read on.
The prevalence of major depressive episode was higher among adult females.
Again, the more emotional of the two. Go ahead.
Which is 10.5% compared to the males, 6.2%.
And this was 2020 statistics. So you guys had a significantly higher number of individuals who suffered from depression. Next one.
The prevalence of adults with a major depressive episode was highest among individuals aged 18 to 25.
Right, which was 17%. So 17% out of all the 24 million, and then, the ranges vary from there. They were between 18 years old and 25 years old. That makes sense. That really does. I'm 18 years old. I'm trying to move out of my mama house, trying to figure life out. This ain't the 1940s where I can buy a house for $20,000. Inflation, interest rates, cost of living makes it impossible for me to actually move out. I'm going through college. I may get through college. Now I got collegiate debt, and then I don't go into my field. So now I'm financially stunted. And then maybe I go get a roommate living with somebody. I can't really save up because everything that I'm making is going to my loan, plus my car notes and all my other bills, which don't leave me a lot to save. Then I'm watching on social media all of these other people that are making it and living large and so beautiful, and you can do it too, but I'm not doing it too. So now I'm stressed. So now I'm depressed because I feel worthless because, dang, how did they do it? This kid's only 18. I'm 24 now. This kid's only 20. I'm 28 now. How did they do it? A lot of times niggas be lying on social media. That's just the facts. But it will affect, you see all of this stuff in your head. I'm supposed to have things figured out. So you feel away because you don't have it together. Between 18 and 25 was the highest percentage of individuals that were depressed. Let's talk about depression symptoms. Go ahead, start from the top.
Persistent, sad, anxious, or empty mood.
Being persistently sad. Being anxious all the time. So depression is linked to anxiety. Or anxiety linked to depression, whichever way you want to look at it. Or feeling empty, feeling numb, feeling nonchalant about everything. Oh my God, I'm having a kid. That's cool, whatever. Oh my God, I got a raise. Whatever. I got us tickets to the concert. Whatever. When you just like whatever to everything, when you're just nonchalant about everything, could be a symptom of depression. But let's read on. Now, once we start connecting them, and now it's like a list of, like, damn, all of these fit me. You might have to, think about it. Next one.
Feelings of hopelessness and pessimism.
Feelings of hopelessness and pessimism. Another symptom. If you always feeling anxious, if you always feeling nonchalant or empty or like nothing makes sense or nothing matters, if you always feeling hopeless, like I can't do better, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, or pessimism, always thinking the worst about a situation. Go ahead.
Feelings of irritability.
Now remember, it said of extreme sadness, but it's not just sadness. You can be constantly irritated all the time for whatever reason. Read.
Frustration.
Or frustrated. Read.
Or restlessness.
Or restless. I can't sleep. I'm always irritated. I'm always frustrated. I'm always in a bad mood. I'm not sure. My kids get on my nerves. My boss get on my nerves. Reading this Bible get on my nerves. My bishop get on my nerves. My brothers is getting on my nerves. My wife getting on my nerves. My mama keep calling. She getting on my nerves. If you got to think about it. Think about it. Go ahead.
Feelings of guilt, worthlessness, or hopelessness.
Again, feeling hopeless, feeling worthless. Go ahead.
Loss of interest or pleasure in hobbies and activities.
In hobbies, things you usually do. Shahad love to go bike riding all the time. All of a sudden, I don't really care to go bike riding. I don't really want to go. I just want to lay here in the bed. I don't want to do nothing. I'm going to want to go work out. He usually on his punching bag. No, I don't really want to work out. I just want to lay in bed. I just want to sit here and drink my cerveza. That's wallow in my sorrow. Right? Like you things that you usually love to do. Like if y'all saw me starting to get fat, y'all gonna know I'm probably depressed. You ain't been to the gym. What's going on? I just ain't been feeling in the mood. I just ain't been feeling like it. That man depressed. Something wrong with him. Something eating his soul up. He need a counsel. He need counsel bad. Right? Go ahead. Loss of interest or pleasures in hobbies and activities. Go ahead.
Decreased energy, fatigue, or feeling slowed down.
You getting enough sleep, but for some reason you always tired. You eating health, but you always tired. But you ain't like always super busy where you exerting a ton of energy, but for some weird reason you always tired. So like if these things, like if you start to hear this list, like damn, I do be feeling pessimistic at times. Sometimes I do feel empty. I have been frustrated a lot. I've been irritated a lot recently. Dang, I usually do like going to the gym. I usually do like playing my game. I usually do like watching my show. I ain't been doing that recently. I have been tired a lot recently. I've been feeling fatigued a lot. I'm just saying, these are the symptoms. Take from it what you want. I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. So don't sue me. Next one, this one.
Yep. Difficulty sleeping.
Having a hard time sleeping. Go ahead.
Waking early in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Always oversleeping.
Right. Having difficulty sleeping or having difficulty waking up in the morning. Always oversleeping. Sleeping the day away. Sleeping till noon when you went to sleep at 9 o'clock. Sleeping till 1, 2, 3 o'clock every day. Literally slept most of your day away. Then you get up feeling sluggish, not doing much still. Might be depressed. Just might be. Last one. This is extreme depression. When people hear depressed, this is what they think.
Thoughts of death or suicide.
Uh-huh.
Or having attempted suicide.
That's what he's depressed. No, it's more than that. That's extreme depression. I'm about to dive off the deep end. That's what that is. But these are all the symptoms of depression. Now, here's one, and this one's crazy, right? And actually, a sister brought this one up to me, and I didn't think about it. And when she first brought it up, I was like, I ain't gonna do that. Then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? This, I believe, actually may be a situation that a lot of Israel deals with and kind of suffer in silence. And some of it, again, sometimes people gonna milk what they can, and sometimes it's real. Problem is so many people will try to milk it that when it's real, you don't take it as serious. This is a big one too, right? Let's go ahead and read it.
Postpartum
For all of our pregnancies, we got a lot of kids that's being born in Israel, right? Go ahead.
Postpartum and peripartum depression.
So after you had the baby and during your pregnancy, depression. Go ahead.
Postpartum depression may be mistaken for baby blues at first.
It's mild and it's very short term. I think they said it's like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Go ahead.
But the symptoms are more intense and last longer.
But postpartum depression is much worse, right? Read on.
These may eventually interfere with your ability to care for your baby and handle other daily tasks.
Right, read.
Symptoms usually develop within the first few weeks after giving birth.
Read.
But they may begin earlier during pregnancy.
That's peripartum. Go ahead.
Or later.
Uh-huh.
Up to a year after birth.
You got up to 12 months, and that it can hit you, right? But we're gonna talk. So we're gonna deal with it, and we're gonna deal with. Because I wanted to make sure that I dealt with this too, right? We're gonna deal with the mental illnesses that plague Israel. We're gonna also deal with scriptural and extra biblical or technically non-scriptural ways of dealing with these things, treating these things, right? Read on.
Sometimes it's called peripartum depression
Uh-huh.
because it can start during pregnancy and continue after childbirth.
Read.
Approximately 1 in 7 women, about 14%, experience PPD.
Which is postpartum or peripartum depression, right? Now, here's the thing. Postpartum depression is a scary thing if it's not treated. It's a scary thing if not noticed. It's a scary thing if ignored. For 2 reasons. One, it affects your child. which will cause you to neglect your child, which could possibly cause you, Salaki, which could possibly cause you to harm your child. And if not treated, if not noticed, if not dealt with, it can develop into what's called postpartum psychosis, which is postpartum depression on steroids. That's you'll literally start hallucinating. You'll start to, they talk about schizophrenia when you hear voices. No, psychosis, you hear voices too. Psychosis, that you should suffocate them. You should just put a pillow over your baby's face. You should just throw them in the river. It is. And as a matter of fact, watch this. Go to there's two scriptures I want to get. Go to up here. Where you at? Go to Mark. And we kind of backtracking. We're going to deal with this one, and we're going to deal with one from earlier. Mark chapter 5. So we're talking about postpartum depression, peripartum depression, which can also lead to psychosis, right? Now, a lot of people will say, oh, this is a situation where, the man has suffered from schizophrenia. No, this individual could have been easily suffering from psychosis as well. Mark chapter 5, start at verse 1.
And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. Mm-hmm. And when he had come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit.
This individual had an unclean spirit. Go ahead.
Who had his dwelling among the tombs.
Uh-huh.
And no man could bind him.
Uh-huh.
No, not with chains.
Uh-huh.
But because they had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him.
Now, here's the crazy part. People could easily think, oh, man, this dude was super big. No. People, hopefully we don't get in trouble for this. People have what's called retard strength. And anybody who knows what that is knows that it's real. And even people that are like on drugs, like certain psychedelics. I remember, was it right here? Or was it at the old school? I think it was at the old school when we were on Manchester. There was a dude that was off of probably, what was that joint called? K2? Yeah, that Flocka. And the dude was high out of his mind. He was running into cars full speed, spearing them head first. Didn't break his neck. I don't know if he had a concussion. Putting dents in people's cars. Busting people's windows with his head. And he did it down the street. He hit a couple of cars. Yeah, but, it happened on the news, but I don't think that particular situation, which was down the street, he ran into a couple of our brothers' cars. So, and he wasn't in the right mindset. Whatever he smoked turned off all of his nerves. Because he did it a couple of times. So, and I don't know if you heard voices. I don't know what was telling him to do it. But these are situations where, it's like, yo, this dude got demons. Here's an example. Watch, we're going to continue to read. Watch this.
Verse 5. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones.
Right.
But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshiped him.
Now, sidebar. So I said he was crying, cutting himself. He had some type of, I don't know if it was depression. I don't know if it's psychosis. I don't know if it's schizophrenia. But we call them spirits. They call them disorders. He had some disorder going on. And I'm pretty sure it didn't just hit him like that. It developed over time. And then now here's the crazy part, which is my sidebar. We've had many of people that came up to us that had mental disorders. We can see it clear as day. But when they got to us, all of a sudden, they were normal. Like had regular conversations with us. Then when they left, it's like they turned the switch back on. And was back on. It was the craziest stuff. which tells me there's some power in these damn words. We be out there street teaching and be tripping, and they come in front of us, have a whole conversation with you. You wouldn't even know they was 5150. And then they walk off. It's almost when as we continue to read, it was like he said the legion said, put us in this swine over here. It's almost like when we start talking, the spirit's like, there's a barrier, right? Like once the person walked into this range, it's like the spirit like got kicked out. He couldn't step into him again. It was like a boundary or something. And as soon as he walked away, that spirit walked around that barrier and jumped back in him, and he was bugging again. Crazy. It's crazy. People been names. You guys, any brother that have been out there on the streets with us? I've been in the truth 9 years. I done seen it a number of times. Brothers who be drunk out of their minds, sober up as soon as they stand in front of us. Crazy. But that's all praise to the Most High. That's the power of the word. But the jump, read verse 8.
For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion.
Right.
For we are many.
He said, my name's Legion, for we are many. Some people got a lot of spirits on them. Some people got a lot of issues. Something as simple as psychosis. You hear people talking to you? There was a video, and actually it was a sister, the same sister that gave me the idea of the postpartum. There's a video, it might be on YouTube. A woman went to jail for, what did she do? I don't remember. I think she dismembered her child. And you know, she ended up, that boy walking, taking his time. That's funny. The woman dismembered her child and deceased him. And they asked her, why did you do it? She said, someone told me to do it. But it wasn't really someone it was the voices in her head told her to do it. Postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis is real. And these are things to take into consideration because like depression is real. Man, you got to just shake that off, get out that state. That ain't how it works. Anxiety is real. You just got to shake that. It's not how it works. But in Israel, especially amongst like brothers, it's kind of what it's kind of what you're dealing with. With brothers, with their wives, so the Lord ain't dealing with emotion. No. But yes and no. Because, yeah, he is. You read in Sirach, it says, if you offend, it says, don't offend, I believe it says, don't offend the poor, because if you offend them and they pray to me, I'm going to hear their prayer. So, and it's specifically talking about if they pray to me to judge you because of what you did to them, they felt a way, and they told the Most High to get at you. He said, I'm going to hear that. So he dealing with emotions to a degree, but you also got to remember the woman is more emotionally inclined. That's in her nature, and it can't always be, oh, you just being emotional. Oh, the Lord ain't dealing with that. Now, granted, again, sisters ain't no green light to milk it. Because sisters will milk it. But there's a lot of brothers out there that will full-blown, they ain't dealing with that. He ain't dealing with emotion. Yes, one, yes, he is. And two, you got to understand that mental illness is real in Israel. So if your wife seems a lot more irritated recently, and you like, damn, I ain't done nothing to her. And you also see that she done had a lot going on recently. I don't know, work, kids, whatever the case is. You also see that she been getting up a little later. You also see that she been seeming a lot more down, a lot more tired. It's like she might be going through some depression or something. We're going to have to sit down and have a conversation. Let me see what's going on. What's up? It can't just be the Lord ain't dealing with that. It can't just be, oh, you being emotional. Oh, you being a woman. Oh, that's wicked. It can't just be that. I've said this before. You have the theory of the law, and then you have practice of law. In theory, the man's supposed to be like this to a T. This is the prototypical man. This is the prototypical woman. Boom. When we got the law, this is how it should be. But then you have practice, practical. In real life, there are a lot of circumstances that come about. One of them is these curses. Scripture said, I am going to plague you with these things. I'm going to smite you with this. The Lord ain't dealing with that. The Lord gave it to us. The Lord hit us with that because of our unrighteousness. And now we got to figure out how to maneuver through it. Now we got to figure out how to do to still be righteous and do right while we dealing with it. And a lot of people don't just read your Bible. Nigga, no, that's not how that works. Oh, you depressed, read your scriptures. What I'm reading? What you want me to read? Oh, you feeling anxious? Read your scriptures. What you want me to read? Here's the thing. It could work, but it doesn't always work. That's just the truth. Especially if you're brand new and you don't really understand what you're reading. When you got heavy faith, strong foundation, that's different. But when you're brand new, or as a woman, you're going through like an emotional rut, it don't always work. That's the truth. Or even if you've been here for a while, but your faith just ain't been solidified like it should. It don't work. It don't work like that. It's not cookie cutter. Like, you feeling anxious? Read. You feeling depressed? Read. You feeling bipolar? You having ups and downs? Read. It's not how it works, bro. It's not how it works. But a lot of people, because they don't understand this book, think it's just like that. It's not. It's really not. Let's go to I want to backtrack real quick. No. We're going to touch on it later, so I don't have to backtrack. All praises. Postpartum and peripartum depression. It says, what was the last one? Approximately 1 in 7 women, about 14% experience PPD. Next one, because I wanted to touch that. Depression is real. Postpartum depression is real. Peripartum depression is real. You have to make sure that you are checking on your brothers, your sisters. If you got a rib that's pregnant, checking on your rib. After she's pregnant, checking on your rib, or at least keeping the environment light for her. So they still gonna go through their things, but again, we're gonna touch on how to mitigate, how to minimize, how to treat these different disorders, different ways that help it. The next one, bipolar disorder. Now, a lot of people like to say, oh, they just bipolar. It's one of the ones they throw around too, because one minute they be happy, next minute they be sad. But it don't really, they may not actually be bipolar. It may be a situation that just made them snap that fast. But let's talk about it. Bipolar disorder.
Bipolar disorder, formerly called manic depression,
Uh-huh.
is a mental health condition that causes extreme mood swings that include emotional highs, mania, or hypomania, and lows, depression.
Right. So, bipolar disorder, you can be way up here, you can be way down there. And what it is, what you have to understand is like you have a base, right? Like I know pretty much Shahad is always right here. He's pretty like mellow. We joke around and get a little loud, but I know pretty much where his base is, right? If one day Shahad comes in and he's all power walking through the school, he always got to touch something, he can't sit still, I'm going to think either he high off speed or something, or something going on up here. If he bouncing all off the wall, I don't know, he talking a lot faster, all of a sudden he got to put his hands in everything. He can't just chill. And then boom, all of a sudden he hit this wall. It's like a low. It's like, dang, what happened? And it's a lot lower than what he usually is. Ain't really mellow. He almost looks somber. He looks sad. What's going on? When you start to see stuff, it's like, oh, it might be suffering from bipolar disorder. Because again, there's a base. And then they swing far left and they swing far right. Read on.
Episodes of mood swings may occur rarely or multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
While most people will experience some emotional symptoms between episodes, some may not experience any.
Right. Now, here's the thing, too. Sometimes it can be like you can feel bipolar, if that makes sense. And it may not be something that you physically project, but you can feel your mood swinging all the time, right? Read the next one.
Mood swings from mania,
Uh-huh.
abnormally elevated change in mood,
Uh-huh.
energy, or activity levels,
Right?
or hypomania.
Which is depression, right? So that's your spectrum. You're here, and then all of a sudden you're way over here. You're way over there. There's a lot of individuals in Israel that suffer with that, struggle with that. A lot of people don't realize. Now, here's the thing, though. Let me see if we talked about it. Let me see something. No. The other thing with bipolar disorder is you can get to a point where, for some weird reason, you're always not. It's not just your what's the word? You're kind of like almost ADD. It's not just that, right? Like you're up and then you're down. Sometimes it can be you have this mood swing where you're always irritated, and like you're like on a 10 irritated, like I don't want to call it violent, but for lack of better words, violent. Like you're livid for whatever reason, and everything pisses you off. Not upset, pisses you off. Like if you swinging like that every now and then, like damn, why I'm so mad? Why this person made me so mad? Why this person made me so livid? Why this person got me so irritated? And this is off of my level base. If you swinging like that, you might have bipolar disorder. Now, I'm laying this out because this is a great foundation, because a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of mental health issues in Israel. A lot of people are like, oh, that man's just crazy. Oh, that man's just wicked. Oh, that man's just full of himself. But no, these people be mentally ill. These people got damaged childhoods. I know her sister say this, and I don't disagree. Some of these brothers got real life mommy issues. Some of these brothers, their mamas really hurt their feelings. They felt abandoned but neglected by their parents. Some of these brothers and some of these sisters got daddy issues. That's why they don't have respect for men. That's why they bouncing from man to man. That's why they don't respect their parents. They have trauma, real life trauma. Some of these brothers are livid with their parents, so they just hate all women. Some of these we'll get to it. Don't worry about it. Next one, BPD, also known as
Borderline personality disorder.
borderline personality disorder. Go ahead.
BPD impacts the way you think and feel about yourself and others,
Uh-huh.
causing problems functioning in everyday life.
Right?
It includes self-image issues, difficulty managing emotions and behavior,
Uh-huh.
and a pattern of unstable relationships.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Having BPD, one of the things is you have self-image issues. Like you look at and here's the crazy part. You could think you're the man, and then all of a sudden you think, man, I ain't nothing. I'm garbage. I don't have nothing to contribute. I ain't worth nothing. All that, right? Read on.
With BPD, you have an intense fear of abandonment or instability, and you may have difficulty tolerating being alone.
Now, watch this. I remember growing up, I used to see a lot of I know a lot of girls that were, and I don't like using this term because everybody uses it. It almost sounds cliche. We're toxic. But for some weird reason, they could not manage to stay single. Every time you looked up, they had a new boyfriend. This was growing up, high school, college, new boyfriend. Or they kept going back to the same toxic relationship they had, whatever the case was. And it was, and the way that they dealt with other people, it was like, people kind of just tolerate you. They don't really want to be around you. So it's really like a lot of unstable relationships, friendships, partner relationships with your spouse or with your boyfriend or with your girlfriend. And I believe a lot of times they didn't want to be alone, so they found somebody new to be with. They probably had BPD. I would have never known. I was just like, she a hoe. Oops. I didn't know no better. She probably had mental illness. And now here's the crazy part. The self-image, because she probably didn't think much of herself. Like, we talk about that all the time. Women do certain things and let men treat them a certain way, or they bounce from men because they have a perception of themselves that's very low. And a lot of that, remember we read earlier, mental illnesses, a lot of mental illnesses comes from trauma, childhood trauma, neglect, a bunch of different things, right? There's a lot of women in Israel, and we talk bad about them. It's true. But you on your third, fourth husband. Sweetheart, you got 3, 4 kids. You had your first kid in the truth. You had 3, 4, 5 kids. And each child has a different father. And they're in the truth, allegedly. And they're maybe part of the congregation, maybe an individual, like whatever. Who knows, right? But I've seen a number of sisters. I'm like, how long you been in the truth? 5 years. That kid's 4. That kid's 2. That kid's a newborn. And okay, so that's his kid. Yeah. And that's his kid. Well, no, that's not his. That's not his kid. No. What y'all sisters like to say? The math ain't mathing. So I'll be sitting there like, that's weird. But you have a lot of sisters that feel this, and sometimes the trauma is caused from the first individual they was with when they first came into truth. That's happened too before. That kills their what is it called? Their vision, their view of themselves. And you can cause somebody to have BPD. This ain't something that you're born with. I could just be born with borderline personality disorder. No. All of these different disorders, just like majority of disorders, with the exception of them being hormonal, like postpartum depression, peripartum depression, because your hormones are like this. With the exception of those, a lot of it comes from trauma. A lot of it comes from past experiences. A lot of it comes from things that you've dealt with, neglect, abuse, things of that nature. This is how you gain these mental disorders. And a lot of times with brothers and sisters amongst our people, in the truth and out of the truth, it's a lot of people that stay in toxic relationships or bounce from toxic relationship to toxic relationship because they don't want to be by themselves. A lot of them do truly feel like they're worthless. A lot of them are told that they're worthless, and they believe it. And they develop borderline personality disorder, and they don't even realize they did. And you just be like, oh, you stupid. Well, that's probably true. They also might have a disorder. And we don't think about that. Like I said, I didn't think about this till a couple weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. I said, man, mental illness is really heavy in Israel. Like, as much as people used to irritate my soul, I'm like, these people are really mentally ill. It's real. Let's continue on. BPD symptoms.
Self-image issues.
Self-image issues. I have an issue with with myself, how I feel, how I look. I think I'm nothing. I look like nothing. I'm worthless, so on and so forth, right? Go ahead.
Pattern of unstable relationships.
Friendships or relationships with boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case is. Relationship with your parents, relationships, co-workers. You got problems with different relationships, and you the common denominator. Go ahead.
Impulsive.
They're impulsive, but also what?
Self-destructive behavior.
And they have self-destructive behavior. People who put themselves in positions to fail. People who look at themselves as nothing. People who have unstable relationships. Go ahead.
Extreme mood swings.
Extreme mood swings. Go ahead.
Chronic feelings of emptiness.
So we can see that this is dang near linked to depression. Go ahead.
Explosive anger.
Explosive anger. Like, essentially, lack of self-control. You see, they said you're impulsive. You do you have self-destructive behavior. This is what BPD looks like. If you got an individual that in their head, I don't care, I'm going to jail. I'm using a guy as an example. I don't care. I ain't scared of going to jail. Now I'll go to the pen. And they got a pattern of, they always got issues, baby mama issues, kid issues. They always trying to fight. They always seem to be angry or the wrong word to set them off. You got to walk on eggshells with what you tell them. They seem like they really just don't care about life. Like, I'll go back, woo, woo, woo. And they're violent or have explosive anger. They might have borderline personality. There's all these gangsters, all these in and out of jail, all these gangbangers. A lot of them probably suffer from BPD. A lot of them. All of these hard niggas, you probably got borderline personality disorder, bro. You might need some medicine. You might need a prayer. You need Jesus. It's real. But we just think they stupid. We just think these dumb niggas. They got mental illness is so prevalent in our communities. I can guarantee you walk down the street right now, almost every single 3 out of 5 people that you talk to, I bet you got some type of disorder and you wouldn't have even known it. But as you have conversations with people, you can hear it. Things that they say, the way that they process things, the way that they think. Bro, there's something wrong with you. There's something going on with you, bro. But it's so normal. We just look at it like, that's just niggas. Nah. We curse. The Lord said He gonna hit us with this. Absolutely. Here's one. Here's another one, excuse me. PTSD, go ahead.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Uh-huh.
PTSD is a disorder that develops in some people who have experienced a shocking, scary, or dangerous event.
Read.
The event could have been experienced by yourself, or you could have been witnessed it, or you could have just witnessed it. After a traumatic event, if you have trouble adjusting or coping in your symptoms, nightmares, severe anxiety, uncontrollable thoughts about the event get worse and interfere with your day-to-day functioning, there is a strong possibility for PTSD. Women are 2 to 3 times more likely to suffer from PTSD.
Right. Now, post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of people only hear people like in the military, VA, stuff like that. PTSD, there's a number of, like, for example, women who are sexually assaulted can develop PTSD. Women who are in abusive relationships, PTSD. Men who are in abusive relationships suffer PTSD. The majority of Israel has experienced some form of this. You saw it. Like, I done heard so many people, I saw my cousin die right in front of me. Stuff like that. You can have PTSD. If you having constant nightmares about certain things. Here's the crazy thing. You may not even know that that's what that is. It's like, man, I keep replaying this situation over and over, and it was a real traumatic situation that maybe you were not fully a part of, but maybe you saw somebody get shot. You saw somebody get ran over, something like that, and it's like, oh, my God. And now it plays over and over. Now in your head, you're always looking around like, I'm looking out for all the cars. I'm looking out for it, make sure ain't nobody going to shoot, whatever the case is. You're always thinking about, you might have PTSD. You might suffer from PTSD. If you were in a relationship where you were always hit or beaten or whatever, abused or verbally abused. And now every time, I don't know, you guys get in an argument, your new spouse, whatever the case is, raises his voice, you freak out and shell up. You might have PTSD. It's more than just, a lot of people look at it as like, oh, the people in the hood get PTSD and all the stuff we suffering. Yeah, but like everyone in Israel could have PTSD because we done gone through so much. There's a number of things that could trigger that. It's not just, oh, somebody got shot. It's not just, oh, somebody got killed. You could have been abused. You could have been assaulted. You could have been sexually assaulted. You could have been molested. There's a number of things that could cause PTSD. Now, the crazy part is there's a lot of women in Israel who are damaged because they were sexually assaulted, like as a child. I don't know how many times I've heard that amongst our people. And people outside the truth has said, like, that's something that goes on in the black family. Uncles, big older cousins, big brothers, all of that stuff. And it's normal. They be like, we just sweep it under the rug. People are messed up from that. They traumatized from that. That may be why she's promiscuous. That may be why she has BPD and thinks she's not worth anything and she's bouncing around and doing all of this stuff. That may be why that's maybe why she can't have a stable relationship, because every time she gets around a man, she thinks, oh, he's going to take advantage of me. Whatever the case is, it's a lot. When you come into the truth, you on your second, third husband. That one didn't work out, so I just left him. There's a reason for that. There's a reason you can't submit. There's a reason why he can't lead properly. There's a reason why every time you tell him no, he blows up. All of that stuff, this is mental illness. And I'm putting this all out there because I want you guys to remember this for our future segments of various lessons. I believe our next segment is we're going to go into the marriage series. Remember this when we go into the marriage and the courting series, because a lot of people in Israel be so hot in their draws and so horny, they don't even get a chance, time to vet out their spouse and see if do they have these type of disorders? Do they have these problems? Can I deal with these problems? Do I have these problems? And this is why a lot of marriages in Israel be failing. Because they don't realize that. Give me the symptoms for PTSD. And this is a list. This is a list right here.
Recurrent, unwanted, distressing memories of traumatic event.
Of the traumatic event. Go ahead.
Reliving the traumatic event as if it were happening
also
again.
Also known as?
Flashbacks.
Flashbacks. Go ahead.
Upsetting dreams or nightmares about the traumatic event.
Go ahead.
Severe emotional distress or physical reactions to something that reminds you of the traumatic event.
For example, and we all joke about this one, but when you hear fireworks and you hit the ground. Oh, shooting. We joke about it. Pretty screwed up that we joke about that, but you know, yeah, that's where we at. That's the us what y'all was talking about earlier. We make the best out of captivity, I guess. Next one.
Lack of interest in activities you once enjoyed.
Now here's the thing: a lot of these disorders are linked. Like we heard that earlier in depression and bipolar disorder, which bipolar disorder is linked to depression because one of the swings of bipolar disorder is depression. Go ahead.
Difficulty experiencing positive emotions.
Right. Go ahead.
Feeling emotionally numb. Trouble concentrating. Irritability, angry outburst, or aggressive behavior.
All situations of PTSD. Go ahead.
Overwhelming guilt or shame. Always being on guard for danger. Being easily startled or frightened.
These are all different symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You got a number of these symptoms in specific situations. That particular situation you may have experienced a while back may have traumatized you to have PTSD. Post-trauma you still get stressed. And that's your disorder. That's what PTSD is. After the stress, post-stress, or post-trauma, excuse me, after the trauma, you still have stress. You still get stressed about that situation. You're still worried. You're still on guard. Again, this is prevalent in our community, prevalent amongst our people. And this is stuff we have to take into consideration. Again, this is important. We're going to circle around. Don't worry about it. But this is very important. Very important stuff to hear. This ain't the deep prophecy breakdowns or whatever the case is, but this is the stuff right here that a lot of people need to hear, because this may be them. This may be their spouse. This may be their child. And what's more important than learning these prophecies and the knowledge of history and all of that? Building up righteous brothers and sisters. Righteous brotherly love. Bearing one another's burdens. But I need to understand your burden. I need to know that you have a burden. You need to know you have a burden. And confess your faults one to another. That don't just mean your sins. Like, yo, I struggle with that. I think I might be depressed. I think I might have anxiety. I'm stressed the hell out, and I don't know why right now. I can't sleep. Sometimes people try to deal with it themselves and end up taking a big fat L. Sometimes you need your brothers. Here's a good one. This one. Funny. Go ahead.
Narcissistic personality disorder.
NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. I want to read through it. Go ahead, read through it first.
Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance.
This is also known as delusion of grandeur. Meaning you're just this big, bro, you're not. Right? But there's a lot of people that suffer from narcissism. But let's read on.
They need and seek too much attention and want people to admire them.
Read on.
People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their own. They are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism.
God, so Shahad, I'm gonna need you to Oh man. No, but this is what's so cold. I remember I was sitting here reading this and I'm like, I had to sit there and think. I'm like, how many individuals in Israel, teachers, camp leaders, captains, elder, whatever you want to call them, how many individuals, I'm reading this and I'm like, how many people have I come across that? There's some narcissists. They lack empathy unless it's like they homie. That's probably a narcissist with them. They lack empathy. They always seeking validation. At the slightest critique, they got an issue. What was the other thing? And they have this grandiose thought of their what is it called? Of their self-perception. They're like they're deluded in who they really are. And I done heard people say, yeah, I was talking to such and such. I tried to correct him, and he got on me about it. Do you know who I am? Do you know how brothers follow me? Do you? Nigga, who cares? Scripture say, Apollos watereth, and I water and Apollos Apollos plant and I water, but it's of the Lord. Care who follow you, bruh? And the fact that you said who follow me, no, who follow Christ, clown. And then as leaders, the scriptures tell you the greater you are, the more thou humble thyself. Now, some of them will put on this false humility. But behind closed doors, you hear how they talk, or you see how they deal with certain people, and you get a glimpse. Nah, that ain't really who you are. You see that a lot too. Or you hear from others, or you hear from things that you've dealt with them personally. I'm like, nah, you full of doo-doo. Narcissism may be permeating through Israel. This may be like an infectious, like how white people invade places and then they spread like a virus. That's what narcissism looks like in Israel. Yes. It's so, and it's more and more prevalent now. And remember, this the cold part. It said people with this disorder may be able to lack the ability to understand and care for about the feelings of others, but behind the mask of their extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism. Me and Yashimai have said this 1,000,001 times, and then I started to see people start to catch on. They started to say it. A lot of these cats was trying to be rappers in the world, failed. Fake gangbangers in the world, bro. You was a petty tagger, but all of a sudden you was a gangster. You was repping whoop-de-whoop. You was a shooter. Shut up. No, you wasn't. You was a square. You was a runt. You got put on, and then it's almost like you were hazed your whole time as the gangbanger. Like you was lame, bro. So they were already nothing. They come into the truth. Oh, I'm God's chosen. I'm this. I'm that. Let's be honest, bro. You aren't even that confident in yourself. This is your grandiose perspective of yourself, your delusion of grandeur. But the moment somebody critiques you, you feel a way about, bro, you're narcissistic is what you are. You're not sure of yourself is what you are. Because you a lame, as we say in LA, weirdo is what you are. And you come into the truth. Now remember, the information said, a lot of these people that suffer from these disorders, there's reasons that stemmed from it. Poverty, racism, being stigmatized. A lot of Israelites broke, dealt with poverty, stigmatized, dealt with racism, and now all of a sudden the Bible said that I'm this. Yeah, but the Bible also told you got to conduct yourself a certain way. I ain't worried about Deuteronomy 7:6. Isaiah 40 and 15. Y'all don't mean nothing to the Lord. Y'all like spit. 2 Ezra 6. The Lord gonna kill all y'all. Obadiah 18. Okay, so now when you done with all of that, when you gonna go do what Christ said to do? Go wake up the lost sheep, bro. But I've literally heard brothers, man, we ain't worried about them. Look how many people following them. I'm not saying us specifically, but I've heard this being taught. Look, ain't nobody following them. Ain't nobody listening to their lessons. Look at their views. They got one. Bro, why you focus on it? First of all, the script. If that's the case, y'all was really making fun of Jeremiah. Jeremiah ain't had no damn views when he was standing out there talking to himself. Scripture say prophesying to the wind. Y'all would have been laughing at Jeremiah. Ain't nobody listening to him. Ha, ha, ha. As John was losing his followers, because he said that he must increase that I may decrease. Oh, look, John losing all his subscribers. You stupid dog. Narcissism is real in Israel. And this is stuff that I've heard in Israel. Leaders, captains, elders, what else they call them? Priests, generals. This is stuff they be worried about. It ain't, let me pull people in to get them closer to the Lord. Let me pull them in for me. Then, brother, start questioning what you teaching, questioning what you say, and you blow up about it. Start to talk down to them about it. You are a narcissist. Like a virus, this one is spreading. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Narcissist PD.
Narcissistic PD. Uh-huh.
Oh, Salakia. Narcissistic PD affects.
Hold on. Ladies go get a kick out of this one. You go get a kick out of this one. Go ahead, read it.
Narcissistic PD affects more males than females.
She like, I know. You didn't even have to read that, duh. Of course. Narcissistic personality disorder affects more males than females. Watch this, read.
And it begins in the teens and early adulthood.
Right. Now, here's the thing. Narcissism is permeating throughout the world now. Like when you watch those shows, Fresh and Fit, when you listen to Tate, when you listen to Sneeko, and they're sitting there talking to, a lot of times they're talking to women, but we see it with men too. But when they're talking to these women, that sense of entitlement, that sense of it's me, that sense of not being able to empathize with other individuals. Like it was one episode I was watching, and they were talking about the plight of the man and how difficult they make it for men, especially colored men, so-called African-American men, to make it in this world. They make life so difficult for us. And they said, just look at the women. They're laughing at what you're saying right now, and it's all true. Because the whole point of those shows is to show you that all you got to do is be pretty, and you got whatever you want. Men actually have to work hard for their success. All you got to do is be pretty and open up your legs. You good to go, right? Now, one of the points that one of the callers called in and said, you guys are so in your own head, your head up your own butt. You don't realize that men have to work 10, 20 times as hard as you to achieve the same success. All you got to do is be pretty and find the right dude. You're good. That's it. They use the example. That Myron used the example. The same yacht that those men are on, that you're on, all you had to do was have your titties out and your booty out, and you was invited to that yacht. The men, they had to build themselves up. They have to be an entrepreneur. They have to make a certain amount of money. They have to look a certain way. They have to be a certain height. They have to dress a certain way. They have to make the right connections before they can get on that same boat. All you had to do was have your booty out and your titties out. And then one of the callers called in and was like, yo, what's crazy is y'all don't even understand what this man is telling y'all right now. You guys got it easy. They were talking about how the amount of men are depressed, the amount of men that are talked down on, the fact that an average man is a piece of garbage now at this point because women are like, my man got to make $300,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year. Bro, that's not realistic. Let's be real. Everyone's not making that. But here's the thing. Y'all feel like it's a game. Like, bro, men really do be struggling. And then the women were sitting there on the podcast laughing. And then Myron was like, bro, even to what you're saying right now, even though it's absolutely true, they're just sitting here laughing at what you're saying. That shows their lack of ability to empathize. And that's permeating through the world right now. But that's something, selfishness, self-centeredness, narcissism is something that America has taught. That is something not only that they have taught, that look at all of the things that they censor and ban. But they don't ban things like that. They don't ban self-centered individuals. They don't ban women on Instagram basically booty naked, nipples out, all of that. The over-sexuality, borderline pornography. Some of it is pornography. But when you speak about masculating a man, not masculating a man, that gets censored. When you talk about traditional households, that gets censored. When you talk about roles, that gets censored. But when we talk about narcissism, talking down on people, disrespecting people, promoting self-centeredness, promoting it's me, 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 push that. Narcissism is becoming, did I put it in here? Let me see something. Yes, I did. Read this last one. I'm sorry, read these last two.
Narcissists often have had a hard time empathizing with others, as they are heavily vain and self-absorbed.
Self-absorbed, self-centered. Go ahead.
Narcissism affects approximately 5% of the population.
About what?
About 12,350,000 adults.
Again, these are individuals that have, we know it's way more than that, but these are people that have actually been diagnosed. Go ahead. Now watch this. Read.
And the disorder is steadily increasing.
And it's steadily increasing. According to the National Institute of Health, this is something that's just doing this. It's going up, 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 right? Now, narcissistic personality disorder symptoms: entitlement, preoccupation with power, beauty, or success, lack of empathy, a need to be admired, So the moment you critique someone or tell them, this is what you need to fix, what you need to do, and they can't take that, their need to be admired. Interpersonally exploitive for their own gain. Now, this is another one. I'm going to use you for my own personal gain. We seem like we cool, but I only really call you when I need something. I'm only dealing with you. I'm dealing with you for as much as you can, as far as you can offer me something. Yes and no. Not even just fair weather friends. Only desires to be around people who seem important or special. So again, telling you pay attention. Oh, look, we just got an interview with such and such. Oh, look, the brother such and such gave literature to such and such. Oh, look, the brother such and such got woken up to the, and it be clickbait, it be BS. You got, brought such and such to the truth. Big names they be looking for. Envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. Narcissism permeating through Israel. Now, here are ways, and then we're going to hit a couple of scripts. Here's treatment and ways to help. So we went through all of this, and the reason why I chose these specific ones is because I've seen this specifically amongst our people. And not as a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but as an individual who is not an idiot. And a lot of it is gone undiagnosed. But as you listen to the symptoms, you're like, dang, I know somebody like that. I know somebody that got that. I know somebody that got. You realize that, right? So, again, keep all of this in mind. We go through our marriage series. As a matter of fact, y'all might need to go back and watch this so you know what to look for. And so we hit all of the, I feel like the most prevalent disorders. Let's talk about treating them. Treatment, ways to help. Go ahead.
Healthy diet.
Stop. A healthy diet. Why a healthy diet? Because having a nutrient-dense, healthy diet helps to balance, stabilize your hormones. A lot of times, like people who are depressed, for example, a lot of them eat really bad food, empty calories, and all the garbage that's going into their bodies is literally affecting their minds. But once they start eating a clean diet, people have said on so many occasions, when they eat better and they exercise, they literally feel better. That depressive state they may have been in, that anxiety state that they may have been in, is gone. Because your medicine comes from what? from what you eat from the earth, specifically. Food can either kill you or, what's the word? Heal you or kill you. Heal you or make you sick. So a healthy diet, that's number one, because when you're not deficient in any nutrients, you're chemically balanced. Next one.
Exercise.
Exercise, being active. I've heard, man, I don't know how many stories I've heard about people who actually started working out. They got way more energy. They feel better mentally. They're sharper in their minds. Like exercise literally releases feel-good hormones. Exercise literally, and there's a Japanese neuroscientist, professor, doctor at New York University. Her name is Wendy Suzuki, and she had a TED Talk, and she spoke about all the benefits of exercises. And one of the big things that she said was it literally makes your brain grow. It literally helps with your memory. It helps to prevent or helps fight against dementia. It helps with cognition, comprehending things. It helps you feel good. It releases what's called feel-good hormones, norepinephrine, dopamine, and those endorphins. Exercise literally helps you feel. It energizes you. It literally boosts you. Why? Because it promotes more blood circulation. The more blood is circulating through your body, the more oxygen going to your body, the more oxygen going to your brain, the more energized you feel. These things can help with the disorders. Next one.
Reading.
Now, these two go together. Read the next one.
Meditation.
Reading and meditation, finding a quiet place, having you time, having peace and solitude time, right? Go ahead.
Avoid triggers that may affect your physiology.
Right? Affect you physiologically, caffeine, alcohol. So if you know every time you drink, you depressed. Every time you drink, you ready to fight. Every time you drink, you had them whatever it is, you get them flashbacks and you get violent. Stay away from your triggers. And you won't have them issues. Go ahead.
Get enough rest.
Not enough rest will literally drive you crazy. Last one.
Avoid social media
And
other stressors.
Why avoid social media? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you got whatever you got going on, and you scrolling through social media, oh my God, they living their best life. Oh my God, I wish, must be nice. When you start comparing comparisons can cause you to be depressed. Comparisons can give you anxiety. Man, they living their best life. I'm barely able to pay these bills. Man, and a lot of times people on social media be lying. They just make it look good. But that can affect your mental. And actually, even more than that, too much screen time affects your mental. And when people up on social media, they be scrolling for hours. It's 9 o'clock. I'm about to get ready to go to sleep. I'm going to go on Facebook for a minute. Oh, damn, it's 1 a.m. Some things to think about. Healthy diet, exercise, being active, reading, meditating, avoiding triggers that may affect you physiologically, caffeine, alcohol, things of that nature. Make sure you get enough rest. Avoid social media and other stressors. Now, I'm going to grab a couple of scriptures to the point. Let's go to Sirach 31 real quick. We're going to blast through these. Sirach 31. And verse, 25.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 31, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
Shew not thyself valiantless in wine.
Don't show yourself valiant in wine, right? Read.
For wine hath destroyed many.
Read.
The furnace proveth the edge by dipping.
Uh-huh.
So doth wine the hearts of the proud by drunkenness.
Right? So wine when people say you got spirits or what they call it, that liquid courage, or wine will switch you up. Alcohol will switch you up, right? Go ahead.
Wine is as good as life to a man
Uh-huh.
if it be drunken moderately.
So if you drink in moderation, it's okay. No harm, no foul. Go ahead.
What life is then to a man that is without wine?
It's saying, man, wine is good. Matter of fact, it's going to tell you, right? Read.
For it was made to make men
It
glad.
said wine was good to make you feel good. You drink a little bit, I'm loose now, right? But watch this. Read on.
Wine measurably drunk and in season bringeth gladness of the heart
Uh-huh.
and cheerfulness of the mind.
Moderately drunk and in season. Read on.
But wine drunken with excess
Uh-huh.
maketh bitterness of the mind.
Someone who always drinking, someone who drinks too much, that person they may not want to admit it, but they're an alcoholic. That alcoholic is going to destroy you. Go ahead. But watch this. What else does it do? Go ahead.
With brawling
With brawling
and quarreling.
and arguing, right? Read on.
Drunkenness increaseth the rage of a fool
Uh-huh.
till he offend.
Uh-huh.
It diminisheth strength
Right.
and maketh wounds.
Right. So now, I wanted to grab that earlier, but I decided to grab it right now. Don't be an alcoholic. This is a trigger for a lot of people. This will trigger their depression. This will trigger their BPD. This will trigger their narcissism. This will trigger their bipolar disorder. This is when they swing over to a rage. This is when they swing over to their depression. Whatever the case is, you don't need to be drinking all the time. You don't need to be drinking too much, right? So avoid your triggers, such as alcohol. Ecclesiastes 30, 21 through 25.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Give not over thy mind to heaviness,
Uh-huh.
and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Now,
That's
don't stress yourself out. Check yourself, right? It says, don't give your mind over to heaviness. Don't be consumed with stress. Don't be consumed with that anxiety. Read on. Watch this.
verse 22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Love thine own soul,
Read.
and comfort thy heart.
Read.
Remove sorrow far from thee,
Read.
for sorrow hath killed many,
Uh-huh.
and there is no profit therein.
Don't stress yourself out. Be conscious of the things that you're thinking about. Now, sometimes it's hard for you to control your thoughts, but do your best to find the things that keep you in a positive mindset. Because having that negative mindset, them stressors can literally kill you. Right? Read on.
Envy and wrath shorten the life, and carefulness bringeth age before the time.
Anxiety, being worried all the time, that's what carefulness is, right? That is going to make you, you're going to age yourself that way because of all the stress, because the more that you stress, the more toxins flow into your body. You don't want that, right? So these are things, again, taken into consideration. How do I keep myself from being this way? How do I prevent these situations? You got to shift that mindset. Again, it's easier said than done, but we're gonna get that. Don't worry about it. Last part, read.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
So again, it ended it with that. Check your mind, check your thoughts, and it said a person who is what does it say? A good heart, a cheerful and good mind. It's because they're healthy. It's because they check their diet. A lot of us are unhealthy because of what we eat. And now our mind is unhealthy. Now we're groggy. Now our mind is foggy. Now we can't focus. Now we can't concentrate. Now we always upset. You need clarity. You need a cleanse. A lot of people need a cleanse. Not just a spiritual cleanse. Like you need a physical cleanse. A juice fast, raw fruits and veggies diet, whatever. You need to clean yourself out. And it'll factory reset you. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 7. Yeah, Proverbs 23 and 7. Let's hurry up and rifle these off real quick.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he.
So as you think, whatever goes on in your mind, you're going to cause it to quote unquote manifest. If you always sad, if you always upset, then your circumstances are going to always be negative. If you're a pessimist all the time, if you stressed out all the time, you're going to cause that to manifest in how you deal and how people deal with you. Right? So shifting your mindset, removing stress, changing your diet, exercising will help. It's not a perfect formula, but it will help to mitigate the mental illnesses and disorders that we have. But watch this. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 12. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16 and verse 12.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
For it was neither herb nor mollifying plaister that restored them to health.
Right. So it wasn't herbs or any quote unquote medicine that restores an individual. And we read that in Sirach chapter 30. What is that? I think it's 38. It's not that specifically that is healing you, right? But read.
That restored them to health. But thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things.
At the end of the day, it's the Most High that's doing all the healing. Because easily, with all of the nutrients being stripped out of all of our food right now, a lot of that stuff could easily not work if the Most High decided it's not going to work no more, right? But it's the Lord that's healing you, the Lord that's looking out for you. So the other thing, outside of exercising and diet, prayer, meditation. I love white noise. Like, I don't like listening to certain songs all the time really affects your brain. If you listen to violent ghetto songs all the time or Mary J. Blige all the time, you're going to be depressed. You listen to YG all the time, you're going to be angry and violent. You listening to Meg Thee Stallion all the time, you're probably a hoe. But you know, it literally, all of the music affects you. NBA Youngboy, Young Lil Durk. You listen to that stuff, you probably angry and enraged. Like, you got to understand, music has spirits behind it, right? So put good things in your mind, put good things in your thoughts, put good things in your spirit. Make sure you praying all the time. Make sure you meditating all the time. Make sure you self-reflecting all the time. And don't be around negative things that's going to cause you to stress, that's going to put you in that position you don't need to be in. Don't be talking to individuals that you know is not good for your spirit, because all they're going to do is continue to trigger and help to keep there the mental disorders that you're struggling with right now, your depression, your anxiety, your PTSD. Put yourself, watch this, go to, and you guys can write down Sirach 38. Verses 9 through 15, it says, pray to the Lord when you're sick, because it's him that heals you, because he could easily have you fall in the hands of the physician. But it's him that ends up healing you. But Sirach 38, 9 through 15, Joshua 1 and 8. Actually, I want to go to that. Yes, Joshua 1 and 8. Actually, we all know that one. Go to Psalms 119 and 97. So Joshua 1 and 8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do all my commandments that I command thee this day. And there, what does it say? And then shall you have good success, and then shall you, I forgot what the last part is, but essentially meditating on the law, meditating on the word, right? Oh, for then I shall make thy way prosperous, then thou shalt have good success. That's what it says. Just clicked in my head. Psalm 119 and 97.
Oh, how love I thy law.
How I love your law, read.
It is my meditation.
It is my what?
It is my meditation.
It's my meditation, read.
All the day.
All the day. Reading this book with everything that I've seen you done for us. Everything that I see that you, this book is a book full of positive affirmations. You are my chosen people. I've chosen you out of everybody. I've given you all the blessings. You're above all people. Same affirmation you hear, I am enough. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am smart. Affirmations out of the book. Last part. So, diet, lifestyle change, remove all your stressors. Meditation and prayer. Last piece. Proverbs 11 and 14 talks about having a safety in the multitude of counsel. There's a reason why I pulled that scripture. Go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 30 first. First Corinthians 15 and verse 30.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 30. And why stand we in jeopardy every hour?
That 1 Corinthians 15 and 30?
Con.
30, let me see. 15 verse 30, go to 33. There it is, 33, my bad.
Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners.
Right, meaning spirits affect you. Spirits affect spirits, right? Now, Proverbs says there's safety in a multitude of counselors, multitude of counsel, right? So, if evil communication can cause you to become evil, become seduced, be on BS, what do you think being around a group of positive individuals will do? Spirit is contagious. So another thing that you need to do that will help you, get around individuals that are feeding into you. Get around individuals that are positive. Get around individuals that are doing what you're trying to do. Get around individuals that you know are good examples, that you know are always speaking about being productive, that you know that are always doing nothing but building each other up. That helps. Being around the right spirit, that helps. And then the last scripture, 1 Samuel 16 and 14. And this kind of goes back to the point that I was making earlier.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse
And
14.
we're going to read, let me see, I'm going to skip around because I don't want to have to read the whole thing. This is our last scripture. Start at verse 14.
But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul.
So the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul. Saul was wicked. David was just now coming on the scene. Go ahead.
And an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him.
So an evil spirit troubled Samuel. Read.
And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold now, an evil spirit from God troubleth thee.
Right, read.
Let our Lord now command thy servants, which are before thee, to seek out a man who is a cunning player on a harp. And it shall come to pass, when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well. And Saul said unto his servants, Provide me now a man that can play well, and bring him to me. Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, that is cunning in playing, and a mighty valiant man.
Right, drop down to verse 23.
And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from God was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him.
So whether it was depression, whether it was anxiety, whatever it was, Saul was going through something. It said, and it troubled him. He was vexed in his spirit. There's probably anxiety. Because as you continue to read on, then when he went out and sought the sorcerer to try to talk to Samuel because he was so frustrated and going through it, pretty sure it was anxiety. But it said that David came and played the harp and soothed him. Why did I bring that out? Like I said earlier, stop playing BS in your car. Stop playing BS in your ears. Stop listening to depressing music. Stop listening to hoe music. Stop listening to shoot 'em up, bang, bang music. Put something in your ear, in your spirit, that's going to be refreshing. More positive messages. Again, it doesn't have to be every single day. But a lot of these women is masculine because they listen to too much Ice Spice. They listen to too much, what's that broad? She from New York. Glorilla. Nah, it's another chick. And when you listen to the song, it's funny because at first I thought she was like a stud or something. She was talking about a woman, but nah, she was talking about like a dude. Uh, what's the name of that song? It's two chicks too. Uh, it's gonna come to me after the lesson. Watch. But I was listening. I said, "Damn, they aggressive." Oh, it's called "Don't Play with It." I'm like, I thought these were studs at first. No, he's just aggressive women. And the hook is "Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Come on, baby, don't play with it." But the way they say it, like they, I thought they was I'm like, yo, like they aggressive. They said lay in it. I'm like, damn, like I don't know if I want to. Like if you go and listen to it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But like that masculine spirit amongst females, that I don't care, I'm asleep around. That those like when you listen to music like that, it affects you. So check the music you listen to. Check the circle you're around. Check your diet. Check your overall health. And that will help you in your mental health. I hope this has been edifying. I know it was a lot. I wish I had the PowerPoint up. But, it is what it is. All praise to the Most High. Anywho, I pray to the Most High that this was edifying. I pray to the Most High that you guys go back to this because this is a segue into the marriage series. It's probably going to be like 3 episodes or 3 lessons, 3 or 4, depends on how it goes. This is something that's prevalent in Israel, and I truly believe this is a reason why a lot of marriages are failing in Israel, because a lot of us have undiagnosed mental health issues. We got to get better. We got to do better. We got to grow. So I give all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God. I pray to the Most High that nobody was offended, because I always say something offensive, clearly. I pray to the Most High everyone got something out of this. And I pray to the Most High y'all continue to tune in. I know it's late. Appreciate y'all who are here. Appreciate y'all that's online. I know it's late. My segment's late, but, that's why I try to make it entertaining, and that's why I try to make it interesting. So all praise to the Most High. I'm finna go to the back because I gotta shut down the thing because ain't nobody there for me, but it's okay. But with that being said, my brother Yahweh and myself, Sound Doctrine, y'all make sure y'all tap in with us. Actually, next week, FYI, next week for everyone online, we won't have any classes until Saturday, either Friday or Saturday, because we'll be at the new location and we'll be setting up all week. So we may not have a lesson next Friday. I'm not 100% sure. I'll find out probably around Monday or Tuesday. But if not, Lord willing, we'll catch y'all the following week. So with that being said, Shalom Israel. Love y'all. Much love.